Dessert days. Treat your family to one of their favorites or surprise them with something new. Either way, you'll create a tradition everyone will love. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition of the program. You can join us on the radio waves here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in studio tonight, you've got Ian here.
And Mark.
We are talking about the disastrous situation that is continuing to spiral down in Venezuela, which is just an all-out mess financially. It is a mess. They have a government exchange rate that's totally wreaking havoc with the economy there. And now, because people are so impoverished and so poor and so hungry, they're getting desperate. They're robbing each other. They're killing dogs in the streets. They are now, looting in mass in grocery stores and other businesses. And Nicolas Maduro's still sitting pretty in his palace, likely eating very, very well while the rest of the country is starving. As one young man said,
he'll probably eat well for the rest of his life. It's not like he's ever going to be thrown into poverty.
Well, unless they kill him before they let him escape the country.
He'll probably die with a full belly.
Gabriel Marquez is age 24. He grew up when Venezuela was rich and empty shelves were unimaginable. He says that they used to throw eggs at each other just to have some fun. And now an egg is like gold. It's interesting how fast things can change. I mean, we're talking about just a matter of years between total prosperity and total poverty.
Yeah.
And all about the economic circumstances,
Socialism
economic policies.
Is very effective in destroying the economy of countries.
Down the coastal road in a small fishing town, this story from New York Times, by the way, in a small fishing town called Boca de Uchire, hundreds gathered on a bridge this month to protest because the food deliveries were not arriving. Residents demanded to meet the mayor, but when he didn't come, they sacked a Chinese bodega. Residents hacked open the door with pickaxes and pillaged the shop, venting their anger at a global power that has lent billions of dollars to prop up Venezuela in recent years. "The Chinese won't sell to us," said a taxi driver who watched the crowd haul away all that was inside, "so we burned their stores instead." Now, it's not because the Chinese businesses won't sell to you. It's because they won't take the bolivar. They'll sell to you if you get the dollars or whatever it is that they'll accept. They just won't accept the country's currency. But unfortunately, uneducated people are not going to place the blame in the right place.
No.
They'll believe the propaganda.
They do it all the time.
Right. They'll believe it. When Nicolas Maduro gets on the air and he blames the United States for the problems and other countries for the problems, or this website, Dalar Today, for the country's problems, some people are going to buy that crap. I know what it's like. We have the Robin Hood of Keene project here in Keene, New Hampshire, where when the city government says the Robin Hooders, the people who are saving people from getting parking tickets in town, doing good work, when the city government says the Robin Hooders are threatening, intimidating, and harassing their employees, people just believe them. They don't have to see any evidence for it. They don't have to actually have personal knowledge of it. Well, the mayor said so. Oh, the city manager said that you're threatening, intimidating, and harassing. They wouldn't lie. Nicolas Maduro wouldn't lie, would he?
I think that they've got some evidence in that circumstance because the Robin Hooders don't file libel claims. I mean, here in the United States, you have a system for dealing with people, especially people in power, who lie. And, the Robin Hooders have decided it's not worth it, as far as their time, energy, money, and all that stuff, to go after these people that make these libelous claims. These claims are libelous. They are absolutely, I'd say illegal, but that's not the right terminology. But they would be held at fault for these claims, and the Robin Hooders choose to not do anything about it. And I understand why. You've explained why they don't.
You find an attorney who wants to take the case, gratis. I'd be happy.
Attorneys just love taking free cases. Yeah. It's like me, just wanting to do free radio and grow pigs for people for free.
Robin Hooding doesn't make any money, so it's not like we're just sitting on thousands of dollars we can hire an attorney with.
But this is how you lose. The government, the mayor's getting a paycheck. Yeah. The government employees are getting a paycheck. The Robin Hooders, they aren't. That's what activism...
Hey, if some attorney wants to step forward and take the case, I'm sure most of the Robin Hooders would be happy to move forward with that idea, Mark. But
some would.
Unfortunately, it costs money to handle these things, and we don't have it. We're activists. I wish we had a bunch of millionaires who would move into town and fund all manner of different court projects. I'm sure we could come up with all kinds of things to sue the city over if we just had attorneys who had nothing better to do or were super generous with their time. So if a bunch of attorneys want to move here and help us out, that'd be fantastic. Would really appreciate that. Anyway, back to the story here. The Chinese, they're mad. Some of these people blaming the Chinese people, the poor people trying to sell food at the sell stuff at the Chinese bodega in town. They got their store raided simply because they're Chinese, and they're getting the blame for not selling. Well, they'd be happy to sell to you, but you just can't pay them thanks to your government. The Venezuelan government. Maduro, who's fighting a push for a referendum to recall him this year over the country's declines, said it was the political opposition that was behind the attacks on the stores. He said, quote, "They paid a group of criminals, brought them in trucks," he said on television on Saturday, promising compensation to those who lost property. At the same time, the government also blames an economic war for the shortages. It accuses wealthy business owners of hoarding food and charging exorbitant prices, creating artificial shortages to profit from the country's misery. It has left shop owners feeling under siege, particularly those who don't have Spanish names. Maria Basmagi, whose family immigrated from Syria a generation ago, pointed to the metal grate pulled over the window of her shoe store, saying, "Look how we are working today." Her shop was on a commercial boulevard in Barcelona, another coastal town racked by unrest last week. At 11 a.m., the day before, someone screamed that there was an attack on a government-run kitchen nearby. Every shop on Basmagi's street closed down in fear. Other shops stay open, like the bakery in Cumana, where a line of 100 people snaked around the corner. Each person was allowed to buy about a pound of bread. Robert Astudillo, a 23-year-old father of two, was not sure there would be any left once his turn came. He said they still had corn flour to make arepas, a Venezuelan staple for his children, but they hadn't eaten meat in months.
Wow.
He says, "We make the arepas small." In the refrigerator of...
I guess people are catching those rats already, I guess.
In the refrigerator of Aracelis Rodriguez and Nestor Daniel Reina, the parents of 4 small children, there was not even corn flour, just a few limes and some bottles of water. The family had eaten bread for breakfast and soup for lunch made from fish that Mr. Reina had managed to catch.
Good.
The family had nothing for dinner. It has not always been clear what provokes the riots. Is it hunger alone, or is it some larger anger that has built up in a country that has crumbled? Ines Rodriguez wasn't sure. She remembered calling out to the crowd of people who had come to sack her restaurant on Tuesday night, offering them all the chicken and the rice the restaurant had if they would only leave the furniture and cash register behind. They balked at the offer and simply pushed her aside. Jeez. She said, quote, "It's the meeting of hunger and crime now," unquote.
Oh, yeah.
As she spoke, 3 trucks with armed patrols drove by, each emblazoned with photos of Mr. Chavez and Mr. Maduro.
Right.
The trucks were carrying food. She said, quote, "Finally they come here, and look what it took to get them. It took this riot to get us something to eat." So things are getting worse there in Venezuela. That's the latest from the story. That story published, I think, just today in the New York Times. The photograph is pretty stark, with an open refrigerator and a very poor-looking family standing next to it with virtually nothing in the refrigerator. Very sad stuff. You can join us here. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE.
hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
As a doctor, I see patients every day who are losing their vision to age-related macular degeneration, also known as AMD. If you have blurry vision or blind spots, they can be symptoms of AMD, and if untreated, could lead to blindness. The good news, AMD can be managed with effective clinically approved treatments that may reverse some vision loss. For free AMD information, contact the Foundation Fighting Blindness at 1-800-BLINDNESS. That's 1-800-BLINDNESS. There is a cure in sight.
Free Talk Live.
They're the mafia. They function like the mafia. They think like the mafia. They hire people who think like the mafia. The only difference is they put on a front that there's something legitimate and legal and valid about all of it.
Well, there's no Don in this particular mafia. The Don is the majority of people who went out and voted and then put their new Don in place. And sometimes the Dons change and sometimes they don't. Incumbents are very difficult to unseat, and but their henchmen stay in place the whole time. It's quite a sophisticated mob operation.
It is. Well,
it's
the mafia that is so successful, that has so brilliantly pulled the wool over people's eyes, that they've actually gotten people to give them their children so the mafia can educate them into believing that they need the mafia.
Right. We have free indoctrination camps. Schools for you to send your kids to.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you a political activist who does things that the government might not like? Then this free ebook may save your life. Rats is your guide to protecting yourself against snitches, informers, informants, agents provocateur, narcs, finks, and similar vermin. Rats was written by OG libertarian Claire Wolfe. Rats is a short book, easy to read, and available free in many formats. Download Rats free at rats-nosnitch.com. That's rats-nosnitch.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition of the program. You can dial us up here, toll-free number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Mark.
We've got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. And you got a lot of choices when it comes to cryptocurrency wallets. There's only one that does Bitcoin, Ether, and DAO tokens. It's Jaxx, Jaxx. You can get it at jaxx.io or you can grab it over the App Store for Google or Apple. It's cross-platform, which means that it's super easy to use on pretty much any operating system. So Windows, Macintosh, Linux, and again, of course, Google and Apple products as well. Plus, there are even browser plugins for Chrome as well as Firefox. So super easy to back up and recover your funds if necessary, and very smooth, easy to use, pretty to look at. Jaxx is a great wallet. We've been endorsing it here on Free Talk Live. You can go to jaxx.io. You can download the desktop versions there, the browser plugins, and even the smartphone wallets as well. But again, you can also go through the app stores. It's control in the palm of your hand. Jaxx.io, JAXX.io. As we continue here, of course, you can join us. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We've got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. Mark, you'd asked about Bitcoin acceptance in Venezuela.
Yeah, it would seem like Bitcoin, this is a currency that everybody has access to around the world if they've got computers and the internet. Why aren't they just switching over since their currency is being devalued, debased by their government, their central bank? Why not just, try something that works?
Well, there was apparently a hit piece created by the Venezuelan central government against Bitcoin, so that may have done some damage to Bitcoin's reputation in the country. But as I speculated, it's likely just that people don't know what Bitcoin is, and many people are probably, they may or may not have internet access there. Apparently, the central bank, or not the central bank, but the central government actually banned some Bitcoin URLs from their internet service provider because the government apparently runs the largest ISP in the country, which is a huge problem for censorship. But there's a story here, and it is from CryptoCoinsNews.com. It actually appears in a couple different places, published a couple of weeks ago, I think it was. A Venezuelan pastry shop, Tortas Don Eduardo, accepts Bitcoin, despite the fact that acceptance has been slow, according to DiarioBitcoin.com, a Latin American Bitcoin journal. The proprietor, Eduardo Hernandez, investigated Bitcoin while using the web at his workplace. He said, quote, "At first, the concept of Bitcoin is strange, but if you work on the web like me, or if you sit to investigate the matter, it turns out to be a possibility when doing business," he said. He adopted Bitcoin on account of its growth as a currency, its market value, and its ease of transaction. In Venezuela, Bitcoin serves as an alternative exchange control, which allows users to accumulate foreign currency gains. He said that Bitcoin is not regulated by the laws of Venezuela or by any government. So that answers one of our questions about it. Is it illegal? Well, no, apparently not. At least not yet.
Yeah, as soon as it becomes ubiquitous, I would imagine it would become illegal, too.
It's just being attacked by the government at this point through propaganda. But he says so these legal limitations are not an obstacle. The Venezuelan government has taken a strict stance on foreign currencies, including Bitcoin. Early last year, Venezuela's state-owned and largest internet service provider blocked many Bitcoin-related domain names, websites, and mining pools. Hernandez acknowledges there's a distrust of cryptocurrency, which he thinks explains why he has yet to conduct a sale in cryptocurrency in the 2 years that he has accepted it.
Wow.
So that's kind of harsh. I mean, that gives us a little bit of a window into the world of cryptocurrency.
It's just ignorance. That's what it comes down to.
That's what it is. He said he did get one call about Bitcoin from someone who was curious about it, but nothing more.
He's a government agent.
He expects acceptance will be higher among young people, meaning that it has a future. Products that can be bought with cryptocurrency in Latin America include pharmaceuticals, jewelry, clothing, and services. But that's all of Latin America, not just Venezuela. I suspect there are not that many businesses accepting it in Venezuela. It's tough to get over that first hurdle or acceptance hump, if you will. I think one of the best analogies has got to be the credit cards. Back when those things came out, and whenever the hell it was, I don't know if it was the 50s or 40s. I'm not sure when credit cards first came out, but it was sometime before my lifetime, quite a couple generations ago. And just trying to imagine how hard it would be to not only convince people to have a credit card, but also to convince the vendors to accept them. What do I need this plastic thing for? I take cash. I'll take gold. I'll take silver. I don't need this plastic thing.
Right, they charge me They take 3% of my earnings.
Yeah, well, maybe it wasn't 3% up front back when they started, but it was something. They would have taken some percentage. Why do I need this? My customers aren't asking for it. My customers don't have this thing. What do I need to take this for? I mean, it's one of those chicken or the egg things. Where do you go first? How do you start this thing out to where businesses I don't know. I don't know how exactly that worked. It must have been slow going for quite a while,
There's
right?
also the sort of the Godwin's law problem is that people don't want to spend their bitcoins to get things. They want to spend dollars because or bolivars or whatever, because those bolivars are devaluing every day. Their bitcoin's going up in value every day. So now in the case of a place where somebody's hungry, they're probably going to exchange the bitcoins for food. But other than that, it's that's kind of what it comes down to.
Well, and again, it also requires someone to have enough wealth to where they can have an active internet connection. And we were just in the other story, we just learned that, what was it, 73% or something like that of people in Venezuela people in Venezuela are spending like 73% of their income on food.
73%.
Yeah. That it would take 16 incomes to feed a family of 4, I believe it was.
Right. These people are eating. They were talking about a lady who the last time her family ate was yesterday when the story was written, the day before, and it was chicken skin and chicken fat that they had managed to get from the butcher at a really cheap price, and a soup made of that.
Right. If you're that poor and your family is going from one day to the next, some days not eating at all, as we were reading in the New York Times piece, and you, what are you going to spend your money on? Are you going to spend your money on food, or are you going to pay that cell phone bill? Are you going to have your smartphone with internet access on it, or are you going to feed your family? It's a pretty clear choice. So Bitcoin may not be particularly effective in a really bad economy like this if people don't have the tools to implement it.
It's true.
Because you've got to have that. You've got to have some sort of device that can access Bitcoin. And so this is one of the weaknesses of cryptocurrency, is it does require internet in order to operate. So if the internet were to go down, which seems very unlikely, obviously the internet around the world is going to continue. But if you don't have access to it, you don't have access to your Bitcoin. So that, I think, is one of the other problems that you're going to run into, besides just, even if people did have cell phones, as they do here in the United States. There's huge smartphone proliferation here in the United States. But yet, what's the percentage of people that actually have a Bitcoin wallet on their smartphone? I don't know. I suspect it's not very many. I suspect it's in the single digits. So, we've got our own problems encouraging people to use Bitcoin here. It's hard enough in a place where people do have the tools that are necessary. There's enough of a learning curve.
Market penetration's there as far as brand recognition with Bitcoin. People have heard of it. Just spoke to a guy today. Hey, have you heard of Bitcoin? I ask people this all the time.
Where'd you speak to him, on the phone or in real life?
In real life.
Okay.
I ask people this all the time. Have you heard of Bitcoin? Have you heard of Bitcoin? And
yeah, sure. Isn't that thing that failed a few years ago?
They don't seem to have that belief.
They still think it's out there?
They believe it's out there. A lot of times they'll be like, isn't that the drug money thing? They'll and is all you have to do at that point is tell them, well, check out saveatpurse.com because you can buy anything there, pretty much anything that they have at Amazon at steep discounts of 15 to 35% there at Save It Purse, and then you can see that it's not just for buying drugs on the dark web.
But speaking of drugs on the dark web, there's an update on the Silk Road case, the biggest of all of the dark web underground marketplaces that was taken down by the federal government back in 2013. The head boss man, the creator of the Silk Road, Ross Ulbricht, was sentenced to prison last year for a lifetime, a couple lifetimes actually, for running a website. And his family and he are appealing the decision. We'll give you an update because the United States government has now filed their brief, a 200-page brief in this case. We'll share it with you on the way on Free Talk Live.
Get a pen and get ready for an important announcement. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, OIC Tax can help. Our retired IRS agents, tax attorneys, and CPAs are fighting for you. That's what we do here at OIC Tax. We help you survive after the IRS has come knocking. OIC Tax can help you with IRS hardship programs, offer in compromise, installment agreements, and the preparation of past and current tax returns. OIC Tax offers convenient representation for small businesses, corporations, W-2 wage earners, and even SBA loans in default. So stop waiting. Get a fresh start. Call OIC Tax at 1-800-314-4491 now. Bank levies, wage garnishments, and property seizures can be devastating to your life. OIC Tax has an A rating from the Better Business Bureau and is registered with the IRS as an e-file provider. Let OIC Tax help you. 1-800-314-4491. 1-800-314-4491. That's 1-800-314-4491.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
I'm Ian Freeman, host of Free Talk Live. We've been covering Uber for years on the radio with their ongoing legal cases across the globe, defending your right to give people rides without asking government permission. I wanted to support Uber more directly, so I signed up to be a driver. It's fun to meet new people and help Uber push forward innovation. As of this recording, Uber is active in 67 countries, so there's a good chance they're available in your area. If you'd like to drive for Uber and make some money helping people get where they want to go, sign up at drive.freetalklive.com, and you'll get a $100 bonus after you complete a certain number of trips. With Uber, you can drive anytime you want. You set your schedule. To get started, you need a good driving record, 4-door vehicle, insurance, registration, and to pass a background check. It costs nothing to sign up, so visit drive.freetalklive.com. That's drive.freetalklive.com. And if you just want to try Uber as a rider, visit ride.freetalklive.com. Your first ride's free.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Friday, gold is $15 higher at $1,293 per ounce. Silver is 27 cents higher at $17.49 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $742 US. Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been helping clients buying and selling precious metals for nearly 40 years. For more information, give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can share your thoughts here toll free with us. Live Sunday edition of the show. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. An update on the Silk Road case. If we get the chance, your calls come first. With you in studio tonight, you've got me, Ian.
And me, Mark.
And don't forget to join us online anytime you want at freetalklive.com. If you like the show and you appreciate the work we're doing here, spreading the ideas of liberty 7 nights a week here on the radio and the internet and on satellite around the globe, then please become a Free Talk Live amplifier. It makes a huge difference. A very, very small portion of our listening audience will ever amp the show. It's just the way things work. But the more that we can have, the better. So don't expect someone else to do it for you. If you really like the show and you think it's worth $5 a month to support, then please join the AMP program at amp.freetalklive.com and get perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, AMP-only podcast, AMP-only Facebook group, and more. Get all the details. Get signed up with any major credit card through PayPal or Visa or MasterCard right there at amp.freetalklive.com, ampamp.freetalklive.com. To Tim in Wyoming. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Mark. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Ian. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. Happy Father's Day, Mark. So
thank you.
You have a child there. So, I wanted to comment on I noticed, Ian, that you were just saying a few minutes ago about how Bitcoin has basic failings that all electronic systems have. And that's what I wanted to comment about that a while back, because every time when you guys are promoting Bitcoin, that's one thing that never really comes up. People don't really think about, what about a literal grid down situation?
It's the first thing that I always hear from people when they're sort of looking for problems with Bitcoin, is that one of the first things they say is, well, you can't use Bitcoin without the internet. And it's a true statement. You simply can't. What I consider it to be is it's a remote possibility.
Okay, go on. Sorry.
I mean, I'm not. It's not that I want to discount it or anything like that, but if you're going to be prepared for a situation where we have, a massive EMP or sunspot activity or whatever it might be that takes out electronics or the internet or whatever, you need to be prepared for the possibility that doesn't happen too. And for those people that want to be prepared for the possibility that it doesn't happen, I would recommend Bitcoin.
Well, I mean, but the idea, as you say, the remote possibility. Now, think about the situations that have happened in California, and I don't know that it's ever happened in Wyoming. I haven't heard of it, but when people actually literally had plans for the fiber optic lines, and went in and cut through with a saw, with a diamond edged, a power chain, probably chainsaw engine powered saw, and went through and cut through the cables. And various places. They had plans. They had trucks. They had the AT&T trucks to go out and do the job. And I mean, job that is if they were actually getting paid for it, but they were doing it just to promote
terrorism.
Terror. Well, essentially is what it was. But then there were other times where people were literally using high-powered rifles and shooting the transformers on power lines as well. These things happen in California. I'm not saying they've haven't happened in other places, but those were internet down, grid down type situations. And just think about the possibility of, let's say the Orlando shooter. Okay, I'm not saying right or wrong, whatever he did, whoever he was. I'm saying a person who does something like that, but instead of going and killing 50 people, or 49 people rather, instead of going and killing people, he goes into a power plant. He goes into an internet, a server farm or something like that. Goes in there and wipes it out, bombs the whole place. Now what? Now, see, there's the problem right there.
Well, Bitcoin wouldn't be affected by that.
Pardon me?
Bitcoin wouldn't be affected by that.
Okay, well, what I'm
Bitcoin's
saying,
a decentralized system, so you can take out some of the nodes in the system, but ultimately the Bitcoin itself, the blockchain, this public ledger that exists on the internet, is copied in thousands of locations.
Yeah, but if you don't have electricity, you can't access the internet.
You can't access it, but that doesn't mean it's Bitcoin's problem. Bitcoin will be still there when you get your electricity back. When your grid comes back up, your Bitcoin will still be right where you left it.
I think it's worth mentioning that people should have some.
Part is what I'm saying.
Yeah, people should have some.
If it comes back up, yeah.
People should have some silver. They should have some canned food. They should have some storable food. They should have some ammunition.
You never want to put all your eggs in one basket. I mean, I'm no investment advisor, but that's just the basics, right? You don't want to do that.
I've got many of those things, and I can tell you that they're not very good currencies. They're good for having on hand, but I've got a whole bag full of what they call coin silver mercury dimes. And
the 90% silver.
Yeah, they're 90% silver. They're mercury dimes, and nobody's ever offered to take those. Whenever I've offered them, nobody's accepted the offer to take those in payment for the work they've done. I've given gold coins to people who've worked for me as a thank you. So it's like a bonus, but they don't want to get paid in precious metals. And nobody's ever said they want canned food or bullets.
Yeah, you can't trade with precious metal. No. That's the problem. I mean,
I suspect currency. Well, today you can't, but I suspect you would be able to more easily if the S hits the fan. Then silver and gold might become far more valuable for currency. But for today, they're not. And I think that's what I think we have to plan for both realities. You have to plan for the chance that things are going to go bad and that you're going to need canned food and gold and silver and things like that. I think it's a good idea to have those things. But also, it's more likely that we're going to have the internet or some semblance of it in our lives for the rest of our lives. That's what's most likely. to occur.
Hopefully.
So having Bitcoin will help facilitate that lifestyle in the future.
Well, there's a book I wanted to mention about somebody who's an ultimate prepper, if you want to call him that. It's by Heinlein, what was it? Anyway, Heinlein.
Robert Heinlein.
Last name. Robert Heinlein, right? And it was called Farnham's Freehold, which it's a sci-fi kind of a thing.
I think I read that one.
Yeah, it's a good book, actually. I mean, there's some things in there that are, it has a little bit of moral ambiguity and kind of a seesaw sort of attitude towards right and wrong, but at the same time, it's an idea. It's an idea that people should really have in their mind. They should really be thinking about, as you say, the stored food and the water. I mean, water filtration too. This is one thing I'm surprised at, is that you guys don't have sponsors who are talking about those particular things, or you don't have sponsors.
I'm pretty sure I heard Ron Paul doing a commercial for.
For a freeze dryer. Yeah, that's actually a really good thing. I mean, that right there by itself. But then at the same time, if you don't have water filtration, what are you going to rehydrate that food with? If you don't have clean water.
We've had a difficult time. Free Talk Live, isn't exactly a prepper show and isn't exactly a patriot show. It's not those things. So it tends to be that the preppers tend to be more sort of the patriot types, and by patriot I mean a person who's just sort of a far righty, and they just they're not interested in Free Talk Live. Largely, I call these folks. It's like and they can't really get on board for whatever reason. They've got other shows of people they'd rather be off on some
Alex Jones
radio network that isn't even on a radio station. There's the Republic Broadcasting out there. They'd rather advertise there.
Hey, Tim, thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE.
The fact that Free Talk Live's on 170 radio stations, more radio stations than the Alex Jones Show. Now, I'm not going to claim to have the market penetration they have that Jones has on the Internet by any stretch of the imagination, but Free Talk Live definitely has more radio stations than these other shows, and that should count for something. It just doesn't in these folks' minds, and oftentimes if they do give us a test, they give us too short of a test. They don't get the results they wanted to get in the time they wanted to get, and that's it.
Plus, our listeners are frugal and skeptical, and the Free Talk Live listener is someone who is not a follower. They're not someone who, and we don't cultivate the cult of personality that would be necessary to be able to get on the air and say, I say you need to buy these Calban soaps or whatever it is, the product might be. If Alex Jones says go out and buy something, his listeners just go out and buy it.
We don't do that kind of show where we preach to people. But I think that it's worth pointing out that many times businesses just have unrealistic views on what they should get in return for their advertising dollar. You're not going to lay out an advertising dollar and get $5 advertising dollars back, or $5 back necessarily. What it depends on is does this work for you from an ROI standpoint? Can a show with
investment?
Yeah, return on investment. Can a show with 300,000 listeners in a given week, and that's just me ballparking. I don't have, I can't quote that. But 300,000. I mean, if you're talking about a 0.1% or 0.01% return, depending on the price of your product. That's probably a pretty good return, right?
If you want to get in touch with Mark for advertising, he can help you. Go to Mark or email him at mark@freetalklive.com, MARK@freetalklive.com. We'll see you tomorrow. Online in the meantime, freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
If you want to move to the Free State and you're looking for some real estate.
Oof, I think we've all had enough of that jingle, don't you? If you're going to invest in property in New Hampshire, it just makes sense to support a Liberty-friendly realtor. Call Mark Warden of Team Porcupine Real Estate for investment property or rentals in the Free State. Or visit his website. Come on, you know it.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
The Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, June 19th, 2016. Silver is trading at $17.48 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,299 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $756. Antiwar.com reports a new 116-page Pentagon report to Congress on the ongoing war in Afghanistan is painting a mighty bleak picture, noting that the period ending on May 31st saw record high levels of civilian casualties in the country, which they attributed to increased urban fighting and a resilient insurgency. Indeed, the report heavily focused on that idea, the resilience of the Taliban, which some 15 years into the U.S. occupation is now said to control more territory than it has at any time during the war, is consistently beating the Afghan military in Helmand and Kunduz and shows no signs of slowing down. The report again tries to claim progress on the part of the Afghan military, claiming they're improving over the last year, even though they're still unable to really handle the mounting losses and are still facing a high 2.4% attrition rate. The report also downplayed the status of the Islamic State in Afghanistan, saying they are limited to low-level recruiting and distributing propaganda, and that they are getting little support from the parent group in Syria. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. UPI reports dangerous and potentially life-threatening heat is expected to spread across the southwestern United States and occasionally reach the Plains states. The Weather Channel reported that temperatures in Phoenix, Arizona could reach a 20-year high of almost 120 degrees. Heat advisories, excessive heat warnings, and excessive heat watches have been issued by the National Weather Service for several states in the South, Plains, and Southwest. According to AccuWeather, Western U.S. expert Ken Clark, the high temperatures are a result of a strong ridge of high pressure that will strengthen into next week. He said when a ridge of high pressure like this one forms in the middle to late June, it can deliver some of the hottest weather possible in the desert Southwest. Other threats include increased power consumption, tire blowouts due to hot asphalt, and heat stroke or sunburn in both humans and pets. Temperatures in the lower 100s are also expected in Tucson, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and San Diego starting Sunday and continuing throughout the early portions of the upcoming week. Clark said the peak of the heat in many areas will be on Monday, but Sunday and Tuesday will be no slouches either in the high heat department. High temperatures are also expected in the plains throughout the week, with heat advisories being issued in Oklahoma City, Dallas, and El Paso. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports a former housekeeper for the chairman of Waffle House and two of her attorneys have been indicted in Georgia on charges they conspired to extort the executive during a 4-year legal battle over secretly recorded video of sexual encounters. The indictments are the latest twist in a dispute that began in mid-2012 after Maya Brindle resigned following more than a decade as housekeeper and then personal assistant to Joe Rogers Jr., head of the Norcross, Georgia-based restaurant chain. Prosecutors allege a sexual encounter between Brindle and Rogers in his bedroom was illegally recorded on video, and the lawyers used that video in an effort to force Rogers to pay millions of dollars to prevent its release. Prosecutors said secretly recording someone in their own bedroom is an eavesdropping felony in Georgia that can carry a prison sentence of up to 5 years. The Fulton County grand jury also indicted Brindle and attorneys David Cohen and John Butters on eavesdropping and charges of conspiracy to commit eavesdropping. A spokesman for Brindle's counsel said on Saturday the attorneys have zealously represented Brindle as a victim of sexual abuse by an employer and said the charges would be found to be false. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Shortly after being fired from his coding position at a downsizing tech firm, 34-year-old Irvine native Sam Morrison told reporters Monday that he believed he had finally achieved the sort of work-life balance for which he has long strived.
Ever since I got fired, it just seems like my whole entire routine is just clicking. I go for jogs in the afternoon, spend nights with my wife and kid. I'm even cooking more. Everything just feels right.
Morrison, who since his termination has found time to pick up reading again, eat a healthy diet, and sleep more than 5 hours a night, noted that his unemployment has allowed him to find a level of harmony in his personal life that he never before thought possible.
For a while there, I thought that I was going to spend the rest of my life constantly worrying about getting to the office on time and pleasing my boss. Outside of the late payments on the house, the mounting credit card debt, the rapidly depleting savings, my life is essentially stress-free. I honestly couldn't be happier.
This is the Onion News Network.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Good evening, and welcome to Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. This is Will Coley, and we are broadcasting live from the Porcupine Freedom Festival here in Lancaster, New Hampshire. And I am joined...
live studio audience.
Yeah, we are joined by my ever-amazing co-host, who is definitely topside tonight, Mr. Dobby Barker. How you doing tonight, bud?
How's it going? I think this is our first Meat Space show.
Yeah.
We've there it is.
We've been doing the whole thing online from cross country, and this is the first time we actually get to sit in a studio together. And
well, we've been in this studio before.
Yeah. On other shows, yeah.
Yeah.
So it is hot. It is ridiculously hot here this week. It was up in the 90s today, I believe, which I was kind of surprised by. It's the first time I've ever seen it that hot when we were here, but no rain yet.
They say Tuesday.
I heard Wednesday, 40% chance, which is, better than most years. I'm hoping none, Give me a little shower to cool it off one day so that it's nice and cool the rest of the week so I can make good money,
So we got a lot of stuff planned this week. You want to tell us about your show?
Oh, well, let's see. I will be DJing at the cosplay party. We will be hosting a cosplay party on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. in the Students for Liberty tent. We'll be playing music, and everybody will be dressed up. I will be coming as Kanake Ken from Tokyo Ghoul.
Awesome.
So, and what are you going to do?
Man, I'm vending like usual. I got some T-shirts and stuff like that. I also got, this year I'm doing kind of a gypsy tent, garage sale, moving sale kind of thing because I'm moving.
Right on.
And so got a light in the pack. So a lot more miscellaneous stuff this year. Monday, I'm giving a talk at Alt Expo called Love is for Lovers, and it's about the, is it 8 or 9 different kinds of love in Greek.
Oh, cool.
And, you know, just trying to...
Like agape.
Agape is one of them,
and all
yeah.
that stuff, yeah.
So I've correlated them each with colors of the rainbow for memorization as a mnemonic. Agape is green.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it should be good.
We learned about like the different kinds of love in Greek when I was studying biblical history back in
I'm also
college years and years ago.
Altering some of them. If you look at modern definitions, people often interchange philia and storage. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but it's like the love from the family.
Yeah.
But if you look at the historical sort of like text on the subject in the original Greek, storge doesn't mean love of family like we think of it. It was also used for the love one has for a tyrant such that they tolerate them.
Yeah.
So like I don't want to. That's not how I feel about my family. Maybe
Right,
that's how
that's
some
right.
people feel about their family.
It depends.
So I'm throwing that one out. I don't think that's love.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it should be fun. Should be good.
I'm vending too again this year. We have 10 T-shirt designs. We were selling axes. We're selling pipes. We're selling. What else are we selling this year? We're selling shoes. We have shoes handmade in Africa that was then sent here by my mother-in-law from Kenya, and we're selling those. And yeah, we're dirty capitalists here, is what we are, and we're trying to make a little bit of bread to take home and bake in the oven. So. That's what I'm doing while I'm here. I don't know what the rest of y'all are doing. I'm here. I'm going to make some money.
It looks like there's some food out there. I'm seeing kids, and the pool is set up, and it's good old fashioned pork fest, man.
For real.
Taryn Lupo is here, so I'm going to get my chiropractic adjustment.
Right. You got grass-fed beef down the hill.
Grass-fed beef, bulletproof coffee.
The absolute best sausages here. Oh my God, so good. And then you got they're running the smoker over. I think it's site 66.
Okay.
They're running the smoker over there. They got 2 turkeys they're going to serve for that's my lunch.
And I'm going to cook this beef squash one of these days. I haven't quite figured out where or how or with what, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
It's like a buttermilk squash bisque with like spicy meatballs in it.
Oh, that sounds good.
Sometimes I put brown sugar in it.
Hey, did you bring those others?
Yeah, I did. I got all kinds of stuff to show you, man. Like
awesome.
See, this is what I mean by gypsy tent.
Yeah, that's why you were like, hey,
I got
Bitcoin?
oils, I got
some Bitcoin,
books,
for this battle
I got
axe?
DVDs, I got.
We'll figure it out. See, that's how we figure it out.
I have
books.
Books, yeah, I got books.
Yes, Islamic books.
Some of them.
Yes, awesome. Woohoo! I love Dobby's book collection. I'm a what is it? A filiophile? Isn't that what they call it?
Bibliophile.
Bibliophile. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a hardcore.
I'm definitely
bibliophile.
aroused by books.
Well, one of my bookshelves, it's so heavy it literally collapsed on itself the other day. So yeah, one of my kids were over there and they were messing around.
I even got fabric, man. I'm like old school Silk Road. I got like a bolt of silk.
Oh, that is awesome. See? You are definitely doing like the old school caravanner trader thing.
I got
I'm loving
coffee
it.
mugs. I got hats and shirts and.
See, you should have built something around that whole theme. Like,
I might still.
If I was thinking about it, I brought a thobe. I've got keffiyeh.
I got a thobe.
See, a thobe and a keffiyeh, and just walk around with stuff and be like the Arab trader.
Right.
Like, there you go. Like
be the Arab trader.